Good evening, everyone. Welcome once again to the Nigeria M365 Community Mentorship Program. This is the Nigeria M365 Community, a community of learners, of professionals, experts in the Microsoft 365 ecosystem. And we have come together to grow, to learn, and to mentor the next generation of Microsoft 365 professionals and IT professionals in general. We welcome you once again to the Nigeria M365 community. This is the 4 months intensive Microsoft 365 mentorship program, the 2026 edition. In the past years, we have organized similar programs, and this 2026 edition will run for 4 months, and it is intended to help learners or beginners kickstart their digital skills journey. It is totally free and it is brought to you by the Nigeria M365 community. We welcome participants from across the globe, and our mentors and learners will be taking through these following technologies in Microsoft 365 ecosystem. We have the Microsoft 365 Copilot and Copilot Studio, the Microsoft Entra ID, Exchange Online, Microsoft SharePoint Online, Microsoft Teams, Microsoft Intune, Microsoft Defender XDR, and Microsoft Purview for compliance. All services and workloads that is embedded in the Microsoft 365 ecosystem. We want to welcome you once again. Before I go on, I would like to briefly introduce myself. I am not a stranger to anyone here. I'm just someone who is passionate about technology, and I love to help individuals and organizations to unlock productivity through Microsoft 365, cloud solutions, and modern workplace technologies. My experience and expertise spans across Microsoft 365, Microsoft Azure, in technical support, in technical training, and engineering. I love to turn complex systems into simple, usable solutions. You're welcome once again. This is me in a nutshell, and my name is Aishat Oshileye. Today, we will be continuing in the Microsoft Intune classes that we started 2 weeks ago before we went for Easter break. And let me just say, I want to welcome everyone again from the Easter break. I hope you all enjoyed the break, the holidays, and I hope you all enjoyed all the jollof rice and chicken. And I also hope that you brought some for us here. And we can actually share the virtual rice and the virtual chicken in the event that you brought them here. Yes, continuing with the Intune classes is Emmanuel Oyimafu, who will be continuing from where we stopped, and he will be taking us deeper into Microsoft Intune. In the past weeks, it took us into the fundamentals of Intune, taking us through Microsoft Entra ID as a foundation for learning Microsoft Intune. And I want to believe that we all learned a whole lot from those sessions, because I actually did. And we'll be going further with Emmanuel Oyimafu today. We all know him. He's been here. He's not a stranger to us all. He's a technical architect in Microsoft 365, Azure, and cloud security. He has experience which spans across cloud and security. 5 years experience designing and securing and optimizing Microsoft Azure, hybrid and multi-cloud environments. He's adept at aligning technology with business goals, driving adoption of Microsoft 365 and cloud security tools, and delivering scalable, resilient, and compliant solutions for enterprise clients. So please, I implore you, join me in welcoming Emmanuel Oyimafu once again to this session tonight, and to the Intensive Microsoft 365 Mentorship Program. He has been an invaluable asset to us in this community, always ready to share his time, share his knowledge, share his skills with all of us. Let us appreciate him with a clapping emoji or any emoji of our choice as we usher him in. Before I give him the mic, I would like to run us through some housekeeping rules. As we all know, this session is recorded and the recording link will be made available for every one of us. Our microphones are muted. In the event that you have a question, you can just react or raise your hands, or you could pen down your questions till the Q&A session, probably in the chat area. Yes, I always encourage us all to follow us on our socials, right? We have a Twitter handle at NGM365. We have the YouTube channel from whence we always watch all the class recordings and all the resources of the Nigeria M365 community. We are always sharing that, and we all can please subscribe to our YouTube channel so that you all can receive notifications whenever we have new uploads on YouTube. We also have the LinkedIn page and the Discord server. I want to encourage every one of us to join the Discord server, as WhatsApp is seeming not to continue or to accommodate us at this point. Our community is actually growing. We need a central environment to manage all our people, mentors, and mentees in one place. Yes, engage on our posts, engage on our content, and the rest. Please, also, once again, I welcome you to tonight's session. Please enjoy this session with Emmanuel Oyimafu, taking Microsoft Intune Part 2. Welcome once again. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, good evening, everyone. And I want to appreciate the community for this privilege to have me here. Is my voice audible?
Yes, you're audible. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Like Aisha clearly said, we're going to be going deep dive into Microsoft Intune today. And by the special grace of God, we are going to pick something and take something home today, by God's grace. So I will be sharing my screen. So I'll just okay. So back to where we were last week. I know some people may just be joining us today. And one of the important topic we covered last week was joining device to Entra ID. And the first thing we did, we went to settings. Let me just show a virtual machine here. So let's say this is the device now that I want to join to Entra ID. You go to your Windows key. From your Windows key, you go to settings. Then from settings, you select account. From account now, then we can now select, choose access work or school. So once we select access work or school, you click on connect, you'll be able to join this any device that is your company device or your personal device to Entra ID. And last week, we talked about two concepts of devices. So let me just share my other screen. Yeah, let me go to devices. So for those of us joining us today, this is Entra ID portal, where you have access to manage identity, devices, groups. You have access to even manage identity protection, identity governance, verified ID, global secure access. Everything is managed in Entra ID. So this is Entra ID. So basically, if I come to devices here now, and I go to all devices, so we're going to see all the devices I have here in this environment. This device here now, precise MKT01, this was the device we registered or we joined to Entra ID. So let's confirm it. So I'm in the device setting here. So let me move this. Let me reduce the size. So I'm in the device setting here. If I want to confirm that the name of this device is precise MKT01, all I need to do is click on the Windows key here, go back to settings, then from settings, click on systems. So it will tell me the name of the device. What this means is that this device has been joined to Entra ID. So we are going to practicalize registering a device with Entra ID because this is iPhone 13 Pro. This is my iPhone. It is registered with the organization, and this is a device that is also registered. So I would like to show us how to like register a device, and we'll also do how to join a device to Entra ID because after this, we're moving straight to Intune, where we'll be creating configuration profiles that we can use to manage the devices that we have joined to Intune. Because the whole essence of Intune is to manage devices, create configuration profiles for different departments, and a lot more, endpoint security and the likes. But before you get those devices to actually manage, you have to join them to Entra ID. Once you join them to Entra ID, then you can easily manage them from Intune. Yeah. So I would like to go back to joining device to Entra ID. So like last week, we created some VMs. So if you were not in the class last week, you can go back and see how to create a virtual machine in that class, what you need to do to set up Hyper-V and create your VMs in that class. Yeah. So I will just go ahead and join this and register this second device to Entra ID. All I need to do is to right click on Start. Then I wait for the device to come up. Then I click on Connect. So the device will load. It will load as if it's a system. So these are virtual machines that were created to perform the device join and device registration so that we can even test with the configurations we are going to create in Intune on these devices. So while we proceed, I would like us to sign in with an Entra ID user on this device because the device has been joined to Entra ID. So let me just sign in with a user that is actually in the organization. So let me go to Entra. Let me pick one user here. So I want us to pick the user we created, which is Schneider Miranda. So I want us to sign in with Schneider Miranda to that device so that she can enjoy features like single sign-on and access to Office apps on the web. So I will just copy her email address. Then I'll go back to the VM. So this is a device now that has been signed in by a local user. So from here now, we can see that the user that is signed into this device is a local user. We can confirm from PowerShell. So let me just open PowerShell. Let me just So I want us to see the difference of signing in with a local user and signing in with a user that is joined to Entra ID. So here now we can see clearly here that Oyimafu here is a local account. It's not an Entra ID account. A local account means that is a default or local administrator or a local user that is created on the system. So from PowerShell, if I want to confirm, I'll just type who am I. So this who am I command now will tell me the person that is logged on to this system. So once I hit enter, it will tell me that the person that is logged on to this system is Oyimafu. So this is the name of this system that I'm logged on to. And this user is a local user in this system. If I want to confirm that this user is a local user in this system, I can right click on the Windows key here, go to computer management, Then once computer management opened, I select local users. Then I go to users. So we can see here, Oyimafu is a local user here. That is why Oyimafu can log into this device. So those of us, if you check your own system, you right click on the start button here. Once you right click on the start button, you click on computer management, it will bring you to this same page that I am now. Once you collapse it, you go to users, you will see all your local users. So this is the built-in administrator. This is the default, these are default accounts created when you are setting up a Windows device. But this is the local user. So I just want to establish that fact before we sign in as an Entra ID user. So if we want to sign in as an Entra ID user, so we just click here, then we can sign out of this piece. So it's even asking me to install updates. I don't want to install update because I don't know when this update will finish installing. So let me just do something. Let me sign out from here. So I'll sign out of Oyima for now so that I can sign in with an Entra ID user so that we can confirm that the user is actually, the person that signed into the device is actually an Entra ID user. So I'll just click on this icon here, which is Ctrl-Alt-Delete. So if you click on this icon, it will give you the sign in page. So now I want to sign in with Miranda Schneider. So all I need to do to sign into this user, I'll click on other user. It will ask me for your work or school account. The reason why I'm seeing other user here is because I've joined this device to Entra ID. If I've not joined this device to Entra ID, I won't see other users, which I'm going to show us on the system, on the other VM that we are going to join to Entra. So I'll just put Miranda's email. So this is her email here. I can just copy it, come back to the VM. Just paste it in. So it may not allow me to paste. So let me just type it. So let me say Azure AD because we're actually signing in with the user that is a member of the organization Azure AD, just like a member of the organization. So once I sign in with the user, I'm going to give us a use case that will enable us to understand exactly what's going on here. So let me just sign in with the user. So let me get her user principal name. Her user principal name is MS Nida at global.com.ng. Then I will now put in her password. I hope I remember. So it will log her in if the password is correct. So she'll sign in. So what this means is that if I use Visual, so what this basically means is that in modern organizations, they have users, and those users sign into their PCs. Most times, organizations that use local domain controller, they join those devices to their local domain controller so that they can manage those devices from their local domain controller. But now, because we're in a modern work environment, we are now using Intune and we're using Entra ID. We are not using Active Directory. So this device now has been joined to the organization Entra ID. So any user in that organization can sign into this device, just like I sign in with M. Schneider. So let me show us one other thing. So from here now, it's asking me for Windows Hello for Business. Your organization requires you to set up a PIN. So I'll click on OK. So all these are second level of security. Okay, someone said they can't hear anything. Is my voice audible? Aisha, I don't know, is my voice audible?
Yeah, you are very audible. You're audible.
Okay, so
That person should
somebody
probably
asked,
log out and come in again.
okay, somebody asked last week that if a user is trying to sign into a device for the first time, will it ask for multi-factor authentication? Yes, you can see it here. This user is trying to sign in for the first time, and the user needs to set up MFA to be able to access the system. So all these are just concept of zero trust. We are trying to verify that the person that is trying to sign in is actually the person that he or she claims to be. So I'll just click next. Then I'll scan the barcode. So if you have your, if for you to do this, you need to have Authenticator app on your phone. So I will just scan this barcode. Scan this barcode so that I can enroll this user to use MFA. So if I do next now, it will ask me for code. I'll put the code. So done. So the device will set up. They said I should set up a pin. So I can just set up something I can remember. Let me say, so I'm signing in with an Entra ID user. So let me just build that concept that I was trying to explain. So you have different users in your organization. So I'll just click on OK here. So now I've signed in with an Entra ID user to this system, just like I have a local user signed in the other time. So let's confirm those things we confirmed before for these accounts now that I've signed in. So if I click on the Windows key here and I go to settings, we'll see a different thing other than the other stuff we saw. So we can see here, we are not seeing any local user again. We are seeing M. Miranda Schneider at preciseglobal.com, meaning that this device now, the person signing into this device is an Entra ID user. So let me open PowerShell. Let me run who am I again. So if I open PowerShell, and I type who am I. So we can see the difference. Azure AD, Miranda Schneider. The other time it was the local system, then the name of the user. So let's practicalize joining device to Entra again, so that for those that did not join last week, they can see it live again. If I come back, if I wanted to explain the concept of let's say the joining device and the use case. Let's say for instance, let me say user. So let me just pick, I want a user. Okay, let's say this is a user. So this is just like a person in my organization. I have another person here. So I have a lot of users in the organization that work. So this is user 1, user 2, user 3, user 4. And I want them to use corporate laptops, like corporate devices to work. So what this means is that I need to buy 4 laptops for them. That's what this thing That's what this means. Like they need to sign in. I need to have 4 laptops that each of these user will use to work. So let me just add the last one here. So each of these users now, they deserve to have their laptops. And these laptops that they are working, that they want to use to work, I want it to be joined to the organization now. Like I don't want the device to just be maybe personal and unmanaged. So I want to join it to Entra ID. For any user, all these guys now, they are users that exist in my organization. For any of them to be able to sign into this device with their organization credentials, I need to join that device to Entra ID. If I don't join this system to Entra ID, there's no way this Schneider here, this person now stands for Schneider. There is no way Schneider will be able to sign into this device. So the first thing you need to do is to join the device to Entra so that any of these users here, they can sign into your corporate devices using their Entra ID credentials. If you don't join them to Entra, you won't even be able to manage them from Intune. So let's just move fast. So let me join the other system to Intune so that for those of us that are just joining, we'll understand. We'll understand what Intune is. So Entra ID joined devices are corporate devices. They are company-owned devices. While registered devices are like personal devices owned by individuals in the organization. So let me sign in. So I'm trying to sign into this particular device so that we can practicalize joining, performing registration of devices to Entra ID before we create some device configuration profiles and the likes. So another thing I want us to take note of is when you join devices to Entra ID, a certificate is installed under the certificate folder of the devices that you join to Entra ID. So let me just check that so that at least we'll understand that also. So from this system now, if I search for personal certificates, uh, or let me just search for certificates rather, certificates. So if I click on manage user certificate here, I'm going to see all the certificates that are installed on the user profile. So let me just wait for it to load. If I click on personal here now, and I go to certificates, you are going to see this certificate here. So this certificate was installed by Intune, but although there are some certificates I want us to see, user personal. So they are supposed to be more than this. This is current user. But basically, once you join any system to Entra, maybe when you are troubleshooting and you want to confirm if the system has really joined to Entra, you can come here to check if the certificate that is supposed to be installed have been installed. But once we join this one, we'll compare. So this device now, if we look at both of them, this one is Windows 10. It's Windows 10. The reason why I use Windows 10 here is that I want us to experience the different scenarios of joining both Windows 10 and Windows 11 to Entra and see that they are all the same thing. So to join Windows 10 to Entra or to register, all you need to do is to go to settings on your system. So we'll wait for the setting page to load. Yeah. So load. Okay. So once the setting pane loads now, all you need to do, you click on account, just like we did in Windows. If I'm to compare them from Windows 11, you click on the Windows key. Then from the Windows key, you go to settings. So once you go to settings, you select accounts, just like we are doing here. So I'll select accounts here. Let me see. So, but I don't know why this Windows 10 is unnecessarily slow today. So once you select accounts on each of the systems, it's still the same process. You just go to access work or school. But we can see that the difference between Windows 11 and Windows 10 is that in Windows 11, the access work or school is on this side of the screen. You can see it here, access work or school. But on Windows 10, it's on this side. That's just one of the difference that we need to take note of. So if I click on access work or school, I'll just select it and wait for it to load. So it's giving me the same options. So if I click on access work or school here, it's showing me connect. This is the same connect here. Then if you come to related settings, this one, they say add or remove provisioning package. The reason why we are not seeing all these related settings is because this device has been joined to Entra ID and also been enrolled to Intune. So there are some use cases that you just want to perform a device registration and manage the device with Intune. You don't want it to be joined to the organization. Then you can click on this option to enroll only in device management. It means that you just want the organization to manage the device. It is your personal device. So that's the concept of BYOD, bring your own device. As a contractor, you want to work for the organization. You can register the device with the organization, and in turn of registering the device, the organization will have some limited control over your device. It's only when you join the device to Entra ID that the organization has full control over your device. But if you register the device to Entra ID, the organization have limit control over your device. So what we are going to do here now is that we are going to do some stuff here. We are going to do the same thing we did by joining this device to Entra ID. So we'll just wait for it to load. So the same thing we did. If I click on connect now, it will show me something similar to this. But because I've already joined the device to Entra, it will not show join device to Entra, because this device, this one now here, has already been joined. So you won't see it. The only thing you can do here now is that you can just register, because you can register this system with another organization. If there's another organization now, maybe I'm working for Precise Global and I now got another gig with another organization, maybe not even another gig, maybe Precise Global is an IT company and they have a project with another company. So you can register your device with the company, so that maybe if the company demands that you register your device, also you can also register it. So from here now, I'll just click on join this device to Entra ID. But if I only want to register the device, I can just put my email here and click on next. The device will show in the portal as registered device. So let me check something before we join this device to Entra. Let me see if I've changed the name of the device, because I don't want the device to show in the portal as let's say laptop, all those long names. So let me just see. So I will increase the RAM of this system so that at least it can be faster. So I want to view the name of this system. So I'll come here. So this is the name of the system, desktop, DMCMC. I want to change it. I want to change it to something meaningful that relates to my organization, not just the first name like this. So I'll just call it precise-mk C-02. So depending on your organization, you can decide to use any naming convention that is supported in your organization. So I will just allow it. It said restart, so I'll restart now because I want the setting to take effect before we join the device to enter. So these are some of the little things that you do in your organization before you join the device to the domain to avoid your devices carrying the normal names that comes with system, which is not best practice. So that if you are creating rules, you can easily know the devices you are applying those rules to, which I'm going to show us in when we go to Intune. Because after all this, we are going to go to Intune and create some configuration profiles for our devices. So I'll just wait for this to restart. So while it's restarting, let's be doing two things at the same time so that at least we'll achieve a lot today. So there's something I want to do. Remember, like I explained the other time, Intune is used to configure devices. So there are some settings I want to configure on this particular system. I want to configure some settings on this system. So part of the settings I want to configure is I want to configure these settings on the system. So let me just do. So I want to configure these settings on the system. I want the gaming section in settings should not be visible. So all these are settings that I want to exclude from the system. I want to change to the system. So you can use Intune to manage devices, control the devices, and also perform some settings on the system. Like this gaming section now, I don't want it to be visible for users in my organization. From these settings here, Schneider is signed into this system. We can see here that gaming is showing here. So, but part of the recommendation that part of the settings I want to configure in this device, I don't want gaming to show here. That's one. Then another one, I want some privacy section settings to be restricted as much as possible. So another thing I want to do is for personalization now, there are some things I don't want to show in personalization, like under the start here. I don't want anytime there is show recent, anytime that any app is added, I don't want it to show. So these settings, I can easily turn it off from this system. But the issue is if I have like 20 systems or 30, it won't be easy for me to be going to system by system and configuring all these settings. So that is one advantage of Intune. Because with Intune, you can manage several devices at the same time. You can just apply configurations that will affect all the devices in your organization. Instead of you to be stressing yourself one by one, going to configure them on each system at the same time. So that is one use case of all this. So now we want to create a configuration profile that will restrict users from seeing show recently added apps in their system. So another thing we want to do is that our developers, they have a folder that I want to exclude from Microsoft Defender. We know that Microsoft Defender can go and scan the system now and discover an executable file, and it can just delete the executable file or corrupt it. So in that case, I want to exclude our dev project folder from Windows Defender. So with this, you can always configure all this from Intune instead of doing them manually. So if you want to do this setting now, like you want to exclude folders from Windows Defender scan, you can just come to privacy and settings here. Then you go to Windows security. From Windows security now, you can just go to virus and threat protections. So wait for it to load. So once it loads, you can see your virus and threat protection settings here. Remember, The settings we want to configure is we want to exclude this folder from Windows Defender scan. We don't want Windows Defender to scan it. So we want this dev build. This is an executable file that is in this folder. So we don't want Microsoft Defender to scan this folder. So that is why we want to exclude it. So if you come here under manage settings, if you go down, you can see exclusions here. This is where you can add or remove exclusions. So, but I don't want us to actually do that from here, because if we are doing that from here, it means that we are going to go to all the systems and be adding the exclusions one by one, which is not best practice. So it's good, all these things, you do them from a central app like Microsoft Intune that you can use to manage devices. So this is what we'll be doing today. So since this system is up, let me sign in so I can join the device to Entra. So we'll just wait for it to load. Yeah. So while it's loading, let's go to Intune. So today we are going to go into Intune finally. At least we have understood some concept of Microsoft Entra. At least we understand how Microsoft Entra relates with Intune, because those devices, you join them to Entra ID so that you can manage them with Intune. So you add them to Entra, because Entra and Intune, they have this relationship in Microsoft ecosystem. So if you want to manage devices in Intune, you have to join them to Entra. Either you join them or you register them. So you must do one. If you don't join the device or register the device, there is no way you can use Intune in that device. So sign in with Windows. Hello. Must I do this? Sign in with our security key. I don't need to do this now. Let me cancel. Skip for now. Okay. So basically, I want to join this device to Entra ID. So I'll click on the Windows key here, go to settings, just like we did the other time. So from settings here, I'll come to account. So once account loads, I will now join the device to Entra ID. I will come to access work or school. Then I'll click on connect. So I'll just click on join device to Entra. If I just put in my email address here, automatically I'm trying to register the device to Entra. But because I want to join the device to Entra, I'll click on join device to Entra ID. So this is for corporate organizations. So this training, I'm just trying to tailor us to corporate organizations, because in your organizations, if you have systems, you can either join them to Entra or you join them to your local domain controller. So we'll just wait for it to give us the email options so we can put in our email. You see, try again or select cancel, set up your device later. So let me retry. Maybe network is affecting it. Okay, let me say join. So sometimes once you see those errors like that, don't be scared. Just retry. So Oyimafu now, I want to use this account to join this device to Entra, because this account is part of the accounts that can join device to Entra ID. So last week we talked about that. So if you miss that class, you can just go and watch the recording so that you catch up on that area. So we'll just wait for it to load so that we can actually join this device to Entra. So we'll see it done. Just wait for it to complete. So it's telling me that if you continue, system policy might be turned on or other changes might be made to your PC. Is this the right organization? researchglobal.com.ng, the username that is trying to join the device, the administrator type. So it's giving you a warning before you even join the device to Entra. It's giving you a warning. So if I'm not a member of this organization, I won't allow it. So I'll just click on join. Since I know that I'm a member of this organization, so I'll just click on join. So let's see if it's going to work. If we have any error, we'll troubleshoot it. Just like last week, we had some errors and God assisted us and we're able to actually fix the issue. And today, even if we have any error, we'll still do it by God's grace. So it's loading and everything is just coming. So while this is loading, I want to create a group that I'm going to add these devices that I just created to the group. Yeah. So let me go to Entra ID. So this is Entra ID. For me to assign policy to, for me to create like these settings I want to configure to gaming should not be visible, privacy section should be restricted. I want to exclude this folder from Microsoft Defender Scan. For me to apply to those systems, I need to create a group that those systems are members. Then once I create a group that those systems are members, then from there, the settings will apply to those systems. So I don't want to just go straight and just, so we'll just do that. So let me see if this system has joined. So it still gave us an error. You are signing in, you are confirm if you are signing into your organization feature, you can try again. So most times all these is network issue. So if the network is a bit slow or maybe there's something wrong, it will be giving you those errors, but just keep trying. Just keep trying. So I'll create a group now for marketing devices. So if I come to devices here in Entra ID, so if I go to all devices, so these are the devices I have. So the other device that I'm trying to join, it has not shown here because is having some network issues. So let me try again this last time. So while it's loading, let me create a group. So let me just say, let me come to, if you want to create a group, you go to groups in Entra ID. From groups here, you create a new group. So you click on new group. So this group is going to be a security group, not an M365 group, because I want to apply configurations to this group. So I will call this group precise marketing devices. So this group now is for precise marketing devices. So for group description, I can say all the devices in this group belongs to precise marketing users. So that's the use case of this group. So if you want to apply Microsoft Entra role to the group, you can say yes, but I don't want to apply Microsoft Entra role to this group. I'll say no. And the membership type will be assigned. So I'll just click on create. So the difference between assigned and dynamic is that assigned, you add members to the group by yourself. So let me just search for the group I created. Which name did I call the group again? Let me look for it. I think is okay. Yeah, precise global marketing devices. So this is the group. If I go to members now, we'll see that there are no members in this group. So I'll click on add. Then under add, I can see all. So this all now shows me everything in my organization that I can add to this group. If I click on users, it shows me just users. If I click on groups, it shows me just groups. If I click on devices, it shows me all the devices I have. Remember, this group is for marketing devices, and this device is for a marketing staff. I'll just click on OK and click on select. Then automatically I've added this device to this security group. So I'm going to teach us how to create a dynamic group that will automatically add all the Windows devices to a group. So use case of this is that you may want to apply a settings that will affect all the devices. Then you can just assign the policy to that group. But if you want to apply policies that affect individual departments like marketing and other units, you can just create a group for each department alone. So let me create a dynamic group that is going to that all Windows devices will be members of that group. So let me call this group. Let me click on groups, then select new groups. So this group now, I'll call it Windows devices. And the group description now will say all so that's the description of this group. So for membership type now, the other time we selected assign, but now I want us to use dynamic device. So we'll now add a query. So what this means is that anytime any device joins Entra ID, that is a Windows device, I want it to be added to this group. That is the essence of this dynamic query. So in this dynamic query part now, I can click on add dynamic query. So those of us that are developers, so you can just select your operation here. So I can say, I can use different settings here for the devices. So if I say device OS, we know that device OS could either be Windows, Linux, or any other OS. So, but I want to use device OS type. So the operator now that I'm going to use is, you can use different operators here. You can use and, all, any ends with, equals, greater than, less than, not in, not start with, start with. So you can even create a group that any device that starts with MKT, add them. So it will automatically check your department and look for devices that starts with MKT. So if I click on start with now, and I say PRE, because that's the name of those computers that I added. So let me check. Yeah. So if I want to confirm now that it will pick those computers, I can validate it. So I can come to validate rules. Then I'll click on, let me add a device that it will validate. So let me just add one device. Let me see if it will validate that that device started with precise online market. So let me use this device to validate it. So let me select. So it will validate now. So it didn't show. The reason is that I use small letter. So let me change the letter to capital letter. Let me come to configure rules. Let me say PRE. So the capitalization also matters in terms of, okay, starts with precise. Let me view the details. Let me see. So device OS starts with, okay, I should change this to device name, not device OS. So let me come back to my rules. Then can say, let me just device display name rather. So let me validate that rule again. So you can see it worked. So if I want to create a policy now and say any device in my organization that the display name starts with PRE, add them to the group, it automatically, instead of me to be stressing myself as an admin, every time there is new device, I should go and be adding them. You can actually use this use case, but I want us to add all the Windows devices. So I'll just say device OS types, it contains, let me use contains, I want to use contains, I'm looking for it. Or let me say equals Windows. Instead of contains, let me say equals. Then let me see, let me validate the rule. Let me see if it's going to pass. So we can see now it's passed. So any device in the organization that is Windows device, it will add it to this group. So I will come back to configure rules. So the essence of dynamic group membership rules is that you are creating a dynamic group that anytime any device, anytime that query matches any device, it automatically add the device. So any device now I join to Entra ID, that is a Windows device, it will add the device to this group. So I'll just click on save. Then I've saved the query. Then from here, I will click on create. Then we'll validate if those computers will be added to the group. So now the group has been created. So let's check if Windows devices were truly added to the group. So I'll click on all groups. I'll refresh. So once I refresh, I'll come down to what did I call that group again? I think I called it Win. Okay, thank you very much. Windows devices. It means we are really following. I appreciate. Then I'll come to members. Let me see. Okay, automatically it's added these devices because their OS type equals Windows. Okay, so let's go back to let's go to Intune now so that we can create a configuration profile in Intune. So let me see if that Windows 10. Let me click on join. So let's see this time if it's going to join, but I don't want us to stay here. So now we'll go to Intune because we want to create some configurations profiles. that we hide game sections from being visible, that will restrict some areas in the system, like the gaming parts. So we don't want our users to be seeing anytime they come here. For people that like game, I don't want them to be seeing game here, so that they will not be using company system to be playing game. Then for those that usually anytime there is new app, it will show in their system under installed app. So I want to actually stop all that from displaying. So there are several things you can set with Intune, depending on the use case. So, but these are the use cases that I want to do today. So let me go to Intune. So if you want to sign into Intune, you can go to Intune from Microsoft 365 Admin Center, like by just clicking on Microsoft Intune. Once you click on under Admin Centers, you select Microsoft Intune, then it brings you to Intune page, Intune portal like this. Then from Intune portal, you can configure anything you want to configure. So since it's our first time coming to Intune, I'll take my time to explain the various parts of Intune so that at least we'll understand it before we start creating configuration profiles and managing devices so that we'll understand it. So let's just wait for it to load. So let's see if this system has joined. Now it's giving us another error. Confirm that the correct signing information and that your organization is which. You can try again. Contact your system administrator. So all this could be known errors. So what I'll do is I'll go and check. I'll check this error. Let me see. Let me just take a snapshot so I can just check because it's just giving me error. It doesn't want me to join it, but these are part of the things that you face as an admin. You'll be seeing different kind of errors, but you don't need to be scared. You just need to try to fix them because that's your work. So we'll just go to so I'm currently making research on this particular issue. So let me minimize this page. So this is Intune portal. Securely manage devices, access, and apps with Intune. So with Intune, you can manage devices. Managing devices is like you can configure some settings on the devices. You can configure access. You can also manage apps. So example of apps now is Microsoft Teams, Microsoft Outlook, SharePoint. You can use it to manage those apps. You can prevent copy. Sometimes some of us that use our system, you are in a meeting and you are trying to screenshot what is on the screen. If your organization is managing your phone, your mobile phone from Intune, once you try to screenshot it, it will not allow you to screenshot anything about the organization. You can't copy anything from Teams to WhatsApp. If you copy it, it will tell you that this is not allowed by your organization. All those are app settings that you configure in Intune. So from here now, it gives you a dashboard of everything happening in Intune. Device not in compliance, I have 0. Connector errors, I have 0. So we can see different things. If you want to learn, if you go to this URL now, device management overview, you will learn a lot. Let me drop it on the chat so that for those of us that want to visit it, we can visit that URL. So let me drop it. So, and anytime there's anything new, if you go to this URL, it will give you those features of everything that is new in Intune. So the first page we are seeing here is the home page that has all these settings. So there is a amber sign here, update firewall configuration. So let me make my screen big. It's telling me to update firewall configuration for new Intune network security endpoint. So this is just a warning for me to actually configure. Multi-factor approval is recommended. Protect sensitive actions with additional approval. So all these are information from Microsoft. So under Intune, we have dashboard. So if I click on dashboard now, I'm going to see some settings under it, like it will give me a dashboard. Those of us that are familiar with Power BI, you can use Power BI to create powerful visualization dashboards that gives you informations that are more of, what are they calling it? That are that like maybe that can help you perform informed decisions. So that is exactly what this dashboard does. It's telling me that my client's app are okay. It's telling me that my device compliance is okay. If I see that device compliance is not okay, I can make a decision like, okay, why are those devices not compliant, so that I can work on it. So we can see total Windows devices. I have 3 Windows devices. I don't have any Android. I don't have any iOS. I don't have any Linux. I don't have Mac OS. I don't have Windows Mobile. Just 3. And those 3 devices I have are all Windows devices. In a big organization here, you will see different things like iOS, Linux. You will see like Linux could be 20, iOS could be 50 and more. So, but this my environment is just a small environment, and you won't really see a lot of devices here because it's not a company. So if you come to all services here, you are going to see all the services that is performed by Intune. All these things now you are seeing here is what is here. They just put it here so that it can give you, for you to navigate into it easily. So these groups that is here is still the same groups that you will see in Entra ID. So it will show you all the groups you have in Entra ID. So once it loads, you will see all the groups. So these are all the groups I have in my organization. So you can see how Intune and Entra ID they are related. In Intune Portal, you can create a group. From Entra ID, you can create a group. If I come back to all services here, we have other settings here like endpoint security, apps, but this all services now is just trying to show you all the services that you can configure. But if you come down to this, like maybe you drill into them one by one, it's better. But maybe for instance, you just want to have an overview of all the services. Then you can just come here to view. If you want to create apps, you want to create apps that you will install in your organization. Once you click on apps, it takes you there. You can create configuration for apps. Like if you want to create apps for Windows apps, for iOS, for macOS, for Android, you can do that. But some of all these like Android, macOS, and iOS, they requires additional configuration for you to actually do them, for you to actually join any of all these devices to Intune. There are some things you need to configure, like for iOS now, you need to do some configurations there, like there's one certificate that you need to enable. You need to do some deep configurations for you to do that, for you to be able to enroll iOS devices to Intune. So now let's go back to other parts one by one. So if we come to all services here, this is just showing us all the services, not all, because services are more than this, but it's just giving you like a quick navigation to access some of the services that you can do in Intune. So if I come to Explorer, it will show us like just like informations of what is happening in the environment. So for here now, I don't have Copilot in Intune. Some of us are preparing to write exam. So this is part of the things that you need to take note of. For you to use the Explorer features, you need to have Copilot in Microsoft Intune. So because Adib and I have Copilot in Microsoft Intune now, then I'll be able to have an Explorer of devices, updates, apps. I'll view everything. I can ask any questions, run query. You see the way ChatGPT works, that you can just give it any prompt in natural language. It will help you come up with responses. So the same thing happens here. If you are using Copilot in Microsoft Intune, if you want to create any configuration profile, you can just say, I want to create a configuration profile for this. It will help you do it. As easy as that. So that is an advantage of Copilot in Microsoft Intune. It's very good. So if we now come to devices, this is where we are going to be doing a lot of things here. So from devices, we can see here that I only have 3 Windows devices. I don't have iOS, I don't have Mac, I don't have Android. I don't have Android devices here. So from here now, if I click on all devices, it will show me all the devices I have. These are all like Windows devices. All of them, their OS type is Windows. And we can see the primary users here. So these are the primary users: Martins, Albert Benson, Oyimafu, and all. So these are the primary users of these devices, and they are all compliant. So if you come down to by platform, so this is just showing you devices by platforms. This devices here, this Windows devices shows you all the devices. But the one I selected now, I came to Windows devices alone. So from here now, if you want to monitor, you can monitor. If you want to create configuration profiles, you can click on configuration profiles. Then you select new, you can create new configuration profile and the likes. So, but I'm just showing us all the portal because I believe if I show us all these things, if tomorrow you want to do anything, it will be easier for you to do them. So if I come to compliance now, so this compliance settings now is more or less like you are creating it to enforce compliance on your devices. So most times this is used in conditional access policy. If I open this compliance policy now, let me open compliance one. Let's see the settings I configured there. So 3 devices are compliant. So if I come to the properties, I'm going to view the compliance policy I set here. So the compliance policy I set here is the platform is from Windows 10 and later. So Windows 10 and later means Windows 10, Windows 11. If Microsoft decides to bring Windows 12, Windows 18, any numbers of Windows, it affects it because it's Windows 10 and later. So the profile type is Windows 11, Windows 10 and Windows 11 compliance policy. So when we proceed, we are going to see different profile types that we can configure. So the properties of this part, what this compliance policy now is checking for OS version. So any OS version in my environment that is less than this version, what will it do? Mark device as non-compliant immediately. Then send email to the end user immediately. What this means is that any devices that is running from Windows 10.0, from Windows OS version of 10.0.1.7, mark the device as non-compliant, then send an email to the user so that the user can upgrade his OS version to a more higher version instead of 10.0. So this is an example of compliance policy. And we can see that this policy is applied to enrolled devices. So it's applied to a group. So any system in this group is going to affect this policy. So let me view the other one so that we can view the next compliance policy. So there are some organizations that they have compliance policy for guest users. They have compliance policy for their own users. They have compliance policy for Mac users. So depending, a big organization, you have a lot of compliance policies because you have guests working in your organizations, you have visitors. So your compliance policy will differ. So here now we can see the compliance policy here. The compliance settings there is no compliance setting here. So, but you can edit. So if I edit these compliance settings now, you will see different compliance settings that you can add. So the essence of these compliance settings is that you are establishing a baseline that all devices in your organization should have for it to be compliant. If you don't have all these things, you are mapped, you can say mark device as non-compliant. So if I collapse this custom compliance, now you can see here, require. So if this custom compliance now, most times, if you click on this particular icon here, it will show you what the policy is talking about. When enabled, devices must be compliant according to custom rules defined in a JSON file based on custom data returned from a discovery PowerShell script. So there are some organizations that they define their own custom rules in a JSON file. So if you are working in such organization, then the compliance profile will be custom compliance. Then we have some compliance policy for device health. So I can say if the device does not have BitLocker, that if I require BitLocker now, it means that any device that does not have BitLocker, the device will be marked as non-compliant. So these are compliance policies. Any device that does not have secure boot, mark as non-compliance. If I come to device properties now, you see different things like that one I specified. You can say minimum OS version. If you say minimum OS version, Windows 11, that means any device that the OS version is major, minor, or minor build, it will not accept it. So you can see different settings here that you can configure in terms of compliance. So compliance is just setting that you configure to establish a baseline for your devices so that if they don't have those settings in place, it will mark them as non-compliant. And you can use this for conditional access policy. Like if you are creating conditional access policy, you can say any device that is marked as non-compliant, deny access. So those non-compliance now could be, maybe you can say if device doesn't have BitLocker, don't allow access. So depending on the organization use case, what me now in my organization I can call something that is compliant. In another organization, it must not be like that. So the other under system security, password now, you can say require a password to unlock mobile devices. If you do this, that means any device that does not require a password to unlock it, to mark it as non-compliant. So these are settings that you can configure in terms of your Intune for compliance policy. So, but most times there are just few things that organization pick. They don't pick everything here because if you say you want to set all these baselines for your devices, many of them may not be able to meet up with this. Many of them. So you have to make sure you put something that is reasonable. Password expiration, 41 days. That means any device now that the password has passed 41 days, the device is non-compliant. It will be giving you those reports in Intune portal here. So let me just cancel. So I'm just showing us compliance settings. So it is used to enforce baselines. So that's just compliance policy. So for configuration now, we are going to create a lot of configuration profiles today. So that is why I don't want us to, I just want us to just look at this, to wait until when we get to that part, then we'll do it. We have script and remediation. So you can create a remediation script. You can create a remediation script that proactively find and fix the top support issues in your organization. Maybe for instance, you want to create a script that automatically updates all the applications in your organization. You know, there are some users that Chrome will be telling will have, they are using the old version of Chrome. They don't want to update it. So you can just create a script that runs on devices that proactively fix those issues in your organization. So we have group policy analysis. So if, for instance, those of us that are familiar with Windows Server and the likes, so with group policy analysis, you can compare a group policy settings in your organization to see if some of those settings is supported in Intune or not. Example of use case. Maybe for instance, you have a project with a client and the clients want to like migrate all their devices to Entra, meaning that they don't want their devices to be joined to domain controller again. They want it to be joined to Entra ID so that they can manage them with Intune. And remember, the Intune of local environment is group policy. So that organization now, they have created some group policies that affect their devices. So as an engineer, you are supposed to export all the group policy settings that that organization has configured. Then you come here to compare the settings that are supported in Intune and the settings that are not supported in Intune, and give the client that feedback that, okay, I've come to Intune to compare. Some settings are actually compatible. Some settings are not compatible. Look at it before we migrate fully to the cloud. Because those settings that are not compatible may be the ones that are more important to the clients. So in that case, they have to remain on-prem. That is why some organizations cannot just move to cloud fully, because there are some policies that group policy can handle, but Intune cannot handle those policies. So that's just one use case. Then we have Windows updates. So all these settings now applies to Windows devices. You can create Windows update policies from Intune. You can create it. You can create policies that will automatically push Windows updates to your devices. You can set it to push Windows updates every 30 days. You can set it to install immediately. So depending on the settings you want to configure. So if you come back to devices now, you know, it's not only Windows. We have iOS, we have macOS, we have Android, we have Linux. So if I click on iOS now and iPad, you will see that I don't have any device here. But if you want to enroll device to iOS, you'll come to enrollment here. From enrollment, it will tell you the different options that you can use to enroll devices to enroll iOS devices to Intune. You have to do Apple MDM push. You have to configure this Apple MDM push certificates. So these are the things that you need to take note of. Once you want to configure this, there are some settings you need to follow to configure it. You have to click on this to agree. Once you agree, you download the CSR, then you create your MDM push certificate, you put your Apple ID. So if you want to learn more on how to configure MDM, configure like how to configure iOS and iPad enrollment, you can go to YouTube. There are some videos there that you can learn on how to do all this. It will give you a step-by-step guide on how to do all this enrollment, but that's for those that want to go advanced. If you want to go advanced, then you can actually use all this to go advanced. Okay, so that's just it. Sorry, I was a bit distracted. So you can go to like YouTube and watch videos on how to configure, because if we say we should do this now, we can even spend like more 2 weeks in doing all this. But I just want to show us so that in case we want to do all that, we can do that. So for Apple devices, there's bulk enrollment methods that you can use. When we say bulk enrollment, maybe you want to add multiple Apple devices. You can use this method. You can use any of these bulk enrollment methods. You can either use the enrollment program tokens or you use the Apple configurator to actually configure these devices. So you can see that all these ones are a bit not straightforward, like Windows. So there are some extra things you need to do to manage iOS devices in your environment. So if I come back to macOS, it's still the same settings you will see. If I come to enrollment, you have to do all these things first before you can manage Mac devices. So if in your organization you are using Mac devices and iOS, then you need to take a further step of going to learn how to do the enrollment settings here. All these things, they are not really hard. It's just to follow the steps, and all the steps are here. And why I won't even be able to do all this is because I don't have some of the requirements for all this. But if it's an organization that you want to set it up, then you should have configured it in your environment. So I've even configured one here. It is active. It's going to expire 2026. Yeah. So you can actually configure yours in your organization by following the steps. So I'll just close this. Then for devices, we also have Android, not only Mac OS and the likes. So Android now, the enrollment of Android is different. For you to manage Android devices in your environment, you need to link your manage Google Play account to Intune so that you can use it to manage your apps that are installed. We all know that the Android uses Google Play to install apps. So that's why you need to link your manage Google Play account to Intune. So we have different bulk enrollments. We have zero touch. If you want to use zero trust, that zero touch, that means you will link your zero touch account to Intune and manage zero touch enrollment. So you can configure different enrollment profiles for personally owned, corporate owned, fully managed. So all these are like advanced if you want to configure them. And for Android also, you can create platform restrictions. Like maybe you want to restrict a particular platforms that you want to have. So you can do for Android, you can do for Mac OS, you can do for iOS, you can create different platform restrictions as the case may be. So let me come back to devices. So let's see Linux. Let's see what we have there. So for Linux, we don't have any Linux device. So I think we have, we'll see it here, but we don't have. So you can also onboard Linux devices and it will show here. So we'll come to, now we are done with by platform. Now we are moving to device onboarding. If you click on Windows 365, so basically what Windows 365 is like a cloud version of your PC. So Windows 365 is a cloud-based service that provides on-demand virtual Windows 10 and Windows 11 desktop to your end users. So what this means is that you can assign Windows 365 license to users in your organization, and they will be able to sign into, they will be able to connect to that PC so long as that license is assigned to them using remote desktop or Windows 365 app. So this can help you increase productivity. So it's more or less like a cloud-based PC, just like cloud PC. For some of us that have worked with, maybe that have done some gigs, so we'll be familiar with cloud PC. So most of them are either managed through Azure Virtual Desktop or they are managed through Windows 365. So now if we come to enrollment, in this part, we have different enrollment options for different device type. So for Apple, we have the way you can enroll Apple devices. Just like I explained the other time, you need to configure the Apple MDM push certificates. You need to do all this for you to be able to enroll Apple devices. You must meet up all these prerequisites. Then for Android, all you need to do is to link your managed Google Play account to Android. Me, I've already linked my own. I've already linked my own. So let's so I've linked mine. So this is the my Google Play. I've linked it to my own organization. If not, it will be giving me, you won't see you in your own case. If you have not linked it, it's tell you to agree, then connect so that you'll be able to manage Android devices in your environment. So but the one I want us to be familiar with more is Windows. So for Windows device, you can do automatic enrollment. As the name implies, automatic enrollment. What this means is that you want any device that is joined to Entra, that device should be automatically joined to Intune. So you can configure your MDM scope to do that. So that any device that is joined to Entra, it automatically gets joined to Intune. That's just automatic enrollment for MDM. So MDM users could all. That means all users will be able to join devices to Intune. So for Windows information protection, you can set it to all, but me, I set it to none because I don't want to use Windows information protection. So if I come back here, so this is auto enrollment, like the name implies. Configure Windows devices to enroll when they join or register with Azure Active Directory. So Microsoft should have changed this to Entra ID. It's no longer Azure Active Directory, it's called Entra ID now. So it doesn't confuse us. So what this means is that as I join that device to Entra ID, this device, it should automatically join the device to Intune. So if I come here under automatic enrollments, I select none. That means I'll need to be joining all my devices to Intune. Like after joining it to Entra, I will now need to be joining them to Intune. But with this set to all, what it means is that automatically any device that is joined to Entra ID is automatically joined to any device that is joined to Entra ID is automatically enrolled to Intune. So here we have CNAME validation. So this CNAME validation now is more or less like you are validating your CNAME. So if I want to do that, I can put my domain name here. Let me put it and test. Okay, CNAME for researchglobal.com is configured correctly. Had it been I did not configure it correctly, then it will not show. So that's just it. All these things are, you need to configure them. So to configure this, if you are registering a custom domain, if you want to add a custom domain, like from here now, this is M365 Admin Center. If you come to settings and you go to domains, so there are some, you can add the CNAME record for, you can add the CNAME record for Intune enrollments. So if I come to DNS records now, I will see all the records that I've added here. So we have CNAME record. So if I did not add this CNAME record to my DNS registrar, it will be giving me error. When I come here to validate, it will give me error. So you need to go to your DNS registrar and ensure that you register these records there. So we'll come back to devices, CNAME. So from here now, we can view other settings like pool management settings. So this one is like way a bit advanced. So maybe when you want to use the local endpoint configuration manager with Intune. So let's not even look at that one. So for device platform restrictions, you can create device platform restrictions policy. So if I edit this policy now, we'll see different settings there. So let's see properties. So for properties now, you can see the Windows devices. So for Windows devices, I allowed personally owned device. But if I block personally owned device, it means that people will not be able to add their personal owned devices here. We can see here for platform, Windows device is allowed. The version, I didn't specify. So these are how you can add platform restrictions to Intune to limit some devices. If I say block, it means that users will not be able to add these devices to my organization. It will be blocking them. I can block Android Enterprise. I can decide to block Mac if I know that it's only Windows that my organization are using. This is restriction, device type restriction. You are restricting devices that should that should be managed in Intune. So, but in this case, I want to manage all the devices. I don't want to restrict anyone. So I'll just leave it the way it is. So from here now, I'll come back to enrollments. So there are other settings that you can play with. So all this, we are going to look at them later on. So we have apps. So anything apps is just talking about applications. You can deploy Windows apps to your users. If you want to install, like the settings I have here now, is to install Microsoft 365 apps for Windows 10 and later. So if I check the setting of this policy now, So let's not be confused. I'm just showing us the overview of Intune. Like, I'm just explaining it so that at least when you are reading about it, at least you can have idea of some of these things. So that's what I'm just trying to do. So under the device settings now, you can see the device status. So this Microsoft 365 app for Windows 10, no device has picked it. No user has picked it. So let me see why. Let me go to properties. Let me see if it's applied to any user. So the group now that this policy is assigned to is just Aduchi Avengers. So let me add that other group so that at least the marketing marketing user group. So I can just say marketing. So I can add them. So automatically this application now will be installed on this this Windows 11 device, but we'll just take it step by step. But I just want to just do that. So we'll still talk about this app configurations and all. So from here now, if you come to endpoints, so this is where you can create endpoint security. You can configure antivirus policy. You know, remember, Intune is used to manage devices. You can configure antivirus policy, like create antivirus policy, create disk encryption, then configure firewall policy. If you want to, if you don't want users to be turning off firewall, you can create firewall policy. You can create endpoint privilege management. You can create endpoint detection policy. You can create app control policy. You can create attack surface reduction policy. So there are a lot of policy here that we are going to create all these policies so that at least maybe tomorrow I'll just take my time to create some of all these policies under endpoints because Intune is just like a security. You are doing security if you are doing it, if you are learning Intune because you are using it to secure your environment. It's Intune work hand in hand with Entra ID and Microsoft Defender. So if you want to understand the device aspect of Intune, you need to know Entra ID. Then if you want to understand the security aspects like all these attack surface reduction, account policy, you need to still have some little knowledge of Microsoft Defender, just basic knowledge. Yeah. So that's just it. So now let's go to agents. So I don't have any agents. So because I don't have, we won't see anything. Then another important feature again is reports. So with this report, you can view device compliance, all the compliance devices in your environment. You can see here now, 0 devices, non-compliant 0, managed devices 0. So this is device compliance policy. So it gives you reports. So if I click on overview now, we can see that monitor the health of activity of your endpoints. So if there is anything, it's going to show me here. So you can view reports from device compliance, from device configuration, and all. So you can view different reports. So there is a use case I use more here. Like if I'm troubleshooting, maybe when you want to troubleshoot. So you can troubleshoot issues. Where is this again? Maybe configuration. No, not from here. Yeah, troubleshoot and support. So this troubleshoot and support, you can use it to like troubleshoot issues pertaining to any user in your organization. So this users reports is just to show you reports of everything in the environment, like the compliance device, the device configuration, Windows update, and all. If you come to users, it will show you the same users that you will see in Entra ID. Same users. It show you the same users that you see in Entra ID. So they are tightly integrated in Intune and Entra ID. So these are my users. It will show me all my users that are in my organization. So same with groups. It will show you all the groups that are in your organization. So for tenant administration now, it shows you, it will give you the settings of the tenant level. Like they show you settings that relates to the entire tenant. So you can perform some admin tasks, you can view roles, you can do assignment filter, you can do multi-admin approval, you can even do some customization here. So if you click on customization now, you will see some customization that you can do. So I have one, there is a default configuration here. Let's see the default one. So let's go to the properties. So you can edit it. You can perform any change that you want to do. But note that if you are performing any change, always try to know the consequences of those things before you do them, so that you don't go and do something that will impact the productivity of users in your organization. So device diagnostics here, you can perform some diagnostics on devices. So this is just Intune, everything about Intune that we want to learn. Everybody wants to learn Intune. They want to learn Intune. Intune is used to manage and secure devices. So on endpoint security here, you can see a lot of things that you can use to secure devices. You can create this encryption to encrypt it. You can do a lot of things in the devices. So many things that you can do regarding regarding your environment. So we are going to configure all this. So now let's go to the class of the day. So somebody have a question. Somebody's raising his hand. I'll also be done, or let me close here so that tomorrow we'll start with creating configurations. I'll just go straight to creating configuration profiles. So I will just stop here for today. So the questions can start coming in now.
Thank you very much, Oyimafu. Guys, let us encourage him. Let us appreciate him with a clapping emoji. Please, everyone. He has done a thorough job and a really wonderful one at that. Thank you very much, Oyimafu. Once again, we are so happy to have you come again to share your valuables with us. We have 3 people whose hands are raised up right now. First person on the list is Oluwatoyin. Oluwatoyin, I'm going to allow your mic now, and then you can ask your question, followed by Clement, and then Kazim. Those are the 3 people I have raising their hands at the moment, and then I'll check in the chat area to see if there's any question waiting for us. So, Oluwatoyin, if you're available, you can ask your question.
Good evening, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Hi,
I can hear you.
Okay. Good evening, Mr. Emmanuel. Thank you very much for the training. It was insightful. And I would say it opened my eyes to so many things. Like currently, the organization I work for, they had so many restrictions on our system. So I'm able to see that it's based on this Entra ID. We have so many restrictions. In fact, I could say we have like 3 different email address as a user. The one you use and log in is different from the one you use and access your Outlook. It's also different from the one you use and even access files. Like the restriction is so cumbersome, like you can't even Google search, you can't do anything. You're just to focus on the task you're given, and that's all. And I'm able to understand better. And my question was, I would ask, for instance, for someone with who wants to venture into IT, and what would be like, how would I put it? For instance, maybe a data analyst, they will ask, okay, what are your portfolio? What have you worked on? This and that. But now, as an IT, someone wants to venture into IT, what will be the guidance? Like, if someone wants to go into that, would I say portfolio or something like maybe what they've practiced on how can they go about it, and how can they showcase what they've learned? I don't know.
All right.
Okay.
Yes, we get your question. I don't know if Oyimafu wants to answer that.
Okay. Or you want to answer?
No, you can go ahead.
Okay. So basically, thank you very much for at least learning and also seeing how what you have learned relates to what's happening in your organization. That's actually our joy as trainers, to open the eyes of our students so that they can learn more. So basically now, the whole thing is in terms of building your portfolio. So what I'm telling you, I'm also telling myself. If you want to really build your portfolio in IT, anything you learn, you put it to practice. We always have this issue of knowledge and doing. So when you have knowledge of something and you are not doing it, you see that little in between the knowledge and the doing is very important. It's just as if your knowledge is useless. If you have knowledge and you're not doing anything with your knowledge, you will forget it. So what I want everybody to do, including myself, I'm still trying to practice is, as you are learning anything, immediately you finish the class, try to write an article, publish it on GitHub, put it on GitHub, like all these things, all these settings I'm doing on the call. You can take your time, take screenshots of all those things. Like even if you don't have the lab or anything, you can read and write an article or put it on GitHub. Because most times, like you said, if you're a data analyst organization, we say, what's your portfolio? Let's see what you have done. As an IT guy, IT support engineer, security engineer, modern workplace, anything you are, you need to build your portfolio on GitHub. Post things that you are learning. We have Medium. On Medium, post what you are learning, right? You can be posting on LinkedIn too. Like if you're on LinkedIn, it's not only maybe certifications. Maybe you write certifications you post. If, for instance, you are preparing for a certification now, you can start posting things you are learning. When you say learning, you can post what you have read, what you understand, you write an article about it. So in that case, if you're applying for a job and you tell them that you're an M365 administrator, refer to those so that the HR or the person that is reviewing your CV, before they even call you, they will go and be checking it. Okay, this person have written about this. This person have written about this. In that case, you stand out. Even in forums, you stand out. So that's just my advice. You can also create a your GitHub profile. Then as you are learning, anything you read, just update it and try to do practice what you are learning. That's just all. Even me too. I'm trying my best to do all this. So let's just try to adopt that. That's my own take for that.
Oh,
All
okay,
right,
thank
thank
you.
you very much. Yeah, okay, thank you very much. If you're done, let's move on to the next person so that we can have enough time. Clemens, you can go ahead. I have your mic enabled already.
Thank you, Aisha. Thank you, Mr. Oyimafu, for this instructive session. I really learned a lot. My question is in respect of VMs. I was able to create my own VMs, and then when you create a VM, when I was rewatching your the last class recording, I observed that you turned off the checkpoint. So what if I want to make that VM a production VM? How would I be able to save the memory state so that when I want to log in again to the VM, I can be able to continue for where I left off? That is one. Secondly, if I'm not a global administrator on Microsoft Entra, so my VM, I may be able to register my VM, but I may not be able to manage it on Microsoft Intune because I'm not a global administrator. If I just want to use my VM, download apps on my VM, use it like a normal system, would those apps still remain on the VMs when I shut down the VM? If I want to use the VM again, will those apps remain on the VM? Thank you very much.
Okay. Yeah, so I like your question. That's a very good question. So for Hyper-V now, when I was actually creating this VM, I disabled checkpoints. So checkpoints is just like, let's say you want to configure backup for your virtual machine so that at a point in time, it saves the state of that particular VM, but it's consuming your space. That's why I just don't want to use checkpoint because I don't want my storage to be full. So that's just it. So it's just like backup. It's just like backup. And you know, most disadvantage of backup is sometimes the drive might get full. So that was why I disabled checkpoint. So in your own case, maybe for instance, let me use this Windows VM at this particular Windows 10, for example. If you want to actually like you want to continue from where you stop in this VM. Maybe when you log in, you just like hibernating a computer. So that when you log in, you continue from where you stop. All you just need to do is from this icon here, we have shutdown, we have save. So once you click on save here, it saves it. So when you log in, you can just go and start it and connect. So it saves the state of the particular virtual machine. So you can click on the save state here. If you are using VMware, you will check the options for save in VMware. If you're using VirtualBox, you check the option for save in VirtualBox. So it's here. It's here. You can save your state. I don't know if I've answered that question.
Okay, so the best way to exit a VM is to first save. When you save, then you turn it off or you shut down. Which one?
Yes. Yeah. So the best way is if, for instance, you are installing an application and probably you want to continue installing the application, you don't want to shut it down. You can save it. Working on a task, you are not done with it. You can save it. That's just a use case.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
So
right.
on it. Okay. Thank you. Okay.
You still have any other question?
Yeah, just one more question. Sorry.
Go ahead.
There is VirtualBox. There is Oracle VirtualBox, right, Mr. Oyimafu?
Yes.
Now, if I want to, can I use an Oracle VirtualBox inside a VM? Is it possible?
Oracle VirtualBox.
Yes.
You are very smart. You are very smart. So what you want to do is you want to create a VM and install Oracle VirtualBox so that you create additional
Yes.
VMs in the VM.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
You can. It depends on the capacity of your system first, because
My system
your
is a
system needs to
32
have high
gig.
capacity.
My system is 32 gig RAM and one terabyte. 1
You
terabyte.
can you can try it. You can try it. You
Okay,
can try it.
instead of having an Oracle VirtualBox on my host system, and then having Hyper-V on having a what do you call it, VM on Hyper-V. So I just want to like have everything under one umbrella. So having a virtual machine, then inside the virtual machine, I have my Oracle VirtualBox, so I can also create more VMs because of the
Yeah,
task I have to do.
you can do that.
Okay.
You can do that. You can do that. You can try it.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Right. Thank you. I think we should be on to Kazim right now. Kazim, if you are ready, your mic is enabled. You can just ask your question.
Okay. Evening all. Thank you so much, our facilitator for the day, Oyimafu. I really enjoy your presentation. Okay, I have two questions. Sorry. In an organization that I'm working for currently, we normally configure devices for user on Intune company portal and other things. But the challenge that I don't know whether it's my organization that actually restrict that. I discovered that some user phone want to configure Intune company portal for them. We discovered that the phone, they will say, is not compatible. As in my threat and intelligence team in my organization, they will say it's not compatible. Like, let me say, Oppo, Vivo, and like Xiaomi. But we don't have challenge with like Techno, Infinix, and Samsung and iPhone. But if you come to configuring of Oppo, Vivo, they will tell you it's not compatible. Is it that is the Intune application or the Microsoft Intune that has not allowed such to run on those phones, or is my organization that did not give the permission due to the threat? That is one. The second one, the virtual machine. If I create a virtual machine on a laptop, on my device, and if there is I have a challenge with the hard drive and the hard drive crash, I'm sure everything goes off together, both the VM that I created and the original OS that I have on it. That's my second question, if it is like that. Thank you.
Okay. So your first question, the answer is clearly on the screen. So when company portal has supported devices, it's not all devices that it supports. So any Android devices that is below 8.0, you can't use company portal on those devices. So it has to be 8.0 or later. And these are Samsung. You can so any Android device, Android is just like a name. Techno, Samsung, Oppo, all of them. So those Oppo now that you're trying to enroll that is not working, check their version, the Android version. If it's less than 8.0, it will not allow you to enroll them. So it's just so this could be the reason because of the version, or maybe they have created a device restriction to restrict some particular devices, like those devices. But most times it's just because the device does not support, like in company portal does not support the device. That's why.
Okay, thank you for that. The second one, virtual machine, if the SSD hard drive crash.
Okay. Okay. So if the SSD or hard drive crash, so there are different things that can make SSD or hard drive crash. Maybe for instance, the OS is corrupt. If the OS is corrupt and the system cannot come up again. So one thing you can do is you can remove the hard disk from the system because the virtual machines you created, their VHDs are stored in that hard disk. So you can remove the hard disk in the system. You use this jacket. There's one jacket they used to wear at this so that you can connect it to a system and have access to your files. So what you can do, you can use the hard disk jacket. Hard disk is still very well and it's still okay. Then if it's okay, you copy your VHDs out. Once you copy your VHDs out, then once you format the system, you install another OS on the system. Then all you just need to do is to copy those your VHDs back, then create another VM using those VHDs. That's one use case. But if, for instance, it's corrupt and it's gone, that means it's gone completely. If you don't have backup, that's why it's good. Backup is good. You can be backing up your infrastructure against all these things. But because your own is a lab, in that case, it's gone. It's low. If the hard disk is corrupt, like completely, maybe you cannot even if you wear it with hard disk jacket, you cannot access anything then. That's all. So I don't know if I answered the question.
Very, very well answered. That's what I want to know. You have already pointed to it. If I slave it or if I remove the hard drive or SSD and insert it in the jacket, if I will be able to access the virtual machine that I created. That's what I actually want to know. You have mentioned it. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Oyimafu. And next person on the list is Adekunle Adenuga, and after him will be Femi and Michael, and that will be all for tonight. Adekunle, you can unmute your mic and speak if you're available. Adekunle. So while we're waiting for Adekunle, all right, yeah.
Hello,
Sure.
good evening.
Yeah, good evening. Welcome.
My question is regarding the login, this thing, signing in for the Microsoft. The one I'll be trying it at my end here. It's not going even on my system. Or maybe I'm missing out something. That's
Okay,
what I want to ask. That's my question.
Where are you trying to sign
regarding
into?
the signing up for the Microsoft?
What are you trying to sign into? Which portal or which? Hello?
Hello, ma'am.
Yes.
The password and the details that was created for us, which we'll be using to sign in. That's what I input, and towards the end of it, is telling me that to subscribe or to give me on that listing. Even after the authenticator listing, the
Please,
PIN, I input it everything.
Could you please reach out to me on WhatsApp? I don't know if you're on WhatsApp.
Okay, your contact, ma'am.
It's Aishat Oshileye. You see if you're on WhatsApp. Check any of the groups you are on WhatsApp. Search for Aishat Oshileye on WhatsApp.
Yes, I am on WhatsApp. But
yes,
I don't. I'm not on the WhatsApp community platform. I'm on Discord.
Okay. Just chat me, pick me up and chat me up on Discord as well. I'm the one that's always posting things on the server.
Okay. Okay, ma'am.
Yes. Yes. Thank you. And
thank you.
Femi can go ahead with his question. Femi, if you're available, and if you're not, we can move on to Michael. Your mic is enabled, please. Anyone that's available between both of them should just speak up. Michael and Femi.
All right. Good evening.
Right, hi, good evening.
Yeah, good evening.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Emmanuel, for this session. So, quick one. I want to know what's the actual difference between compliance policy and configuration policy. Yeah. So, also, I don't know, tomorrow, I don't know if you can show us something on regarding device setup, show us something on autopilot. Yeah, that's my question. Thank you.
Okay. So for autopilot, there is a video or a section that Adekunle, one of our leaders in the community, Adekunle Saromi, he did a section on autopilot. So I advise you watch that video because he really did justice to autopilot. Like he spends time to explain autopilot. So you can subscribe to our YouTube channel. Then from our YouTube channel, you will see some of our meetups for this year. Adekunle really did justice to autopilot. Yeah, so you can watch that for autopilot. So the difference between configuration and compliance. So just as the name implies, configuration. So when you say configuration now, they are just like settings that you use to configure a system, a device. Like maybe for instance, you want to, let me use a very good use case, wallpaper. You want to set up wallpaper for all the systems in your organization. That means you are trying to configure all the systems to have your organization wallpaper. If you want to, like those settings I talked about that we're going to configure, like you want to block some features in your systems, like you don't want users to be seeing game features, you don't want them, you want to add exclusions. So those are configuration. Those are settings that you use to configure a system. Then compliance now is just like checking the health of those systems. Compliance is used for is for health. You can say, okay, for a system to be healthy, BitLocker needs to be enabled on that system. Secured boots need to be enabled on that system. That means that system is considered to be healthy, meaning that the system is compliant. So compliance policy is just to like create baselines to specify the settings of the health of your system. But configuration is settings, like you are configuring settings. Okay, I want wallpaper to be installed. I want this to happen. I want the other ones to happen. That's just it. That's just for configuration profile. So I don't know if I've answered
Okay.
your question, or you want me to throw more
Yes.
light.
No, you did. Thank you so much. So are you saying tomorrow you won't do anything on autopilot? No, I will still check the videos though.
And check the video. If there even if there is time, if there are a lot of things that we need to cover that we need to cover within tomorrow. So tomorrow will just be practical section like this. So I may not cover autopilot, but I can just talk about it, show us how it is for those of us that want to write exam, because autopilot always come out in the exam, like a lot. So I'll just show us that part. But if you watch articulate section, you will understand autopilot very well because he really explained it. I was in the section too.
Okay, boss. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. So that
you
Windows
very
10 device that I was trying to join to Entra. So what I did was I restarted the device and I tried again, it worked. So tomorrow now we are going to configure this, we are going to like create some configuration profiles that we apply to this Windows 10 device and the other Windows 11 device. So Aisha, yeah, over to you.
Yeah, thank you very much. Femi still has his hand raised. I don't know why he's unable to unmute his mic, but I have like one or two. You can drop Femi. You can drop your question in the chat area, and in the event that you can't unmute your mic. But I have one or two questions here from the chat. First is that first person asks, where do we control website access and blockage?
Okay, website access and blockage. That's a very sharp question. So all these are from endpoint security. So from here you can create detections that will block URLs. So if I come to firewall now and I click on create policy, so you can create policy for, let me Windows, let me say firewall rules. Let me use firewall rules. So from here, from endpoint security, you can create policies that will block some URLs that you don't want your users to have access to. You can definitely do a lot from there, but endpoint security, that is where you have that leverage to add firewall rules that will block any settings. You can decide to allow or block. You can create any rules. You can give the rule a name. You can do basic settings from here. But from here, this is where you do all those things. Attack surface reduction policy is here. You can create ASR policy. You can select scope it to Windows. So you can define any of them, easy device control, exploit protection, application control. So depending on the one you want to control. So, but to block URLs, you can actually do it from here using firewall policy. Yeah, you can do that. So for this tomorrow, we are going to explore that part. So any other question on the chat?
Yes, one other saying that what is enrolled devices? You need to throw more light on that. Is it the BYOD scenario?
Okay. So enroll devices now is when we say enroll, it means those devices are joined to Intune. It could be corporate or BYOD. Let's not confuse ourselves. It could be corporate or BYOD. So you can join your personal device, you can enroll your personal devices to Intune. So for Entra ID, we call it join. While for Intune, we call it enroll. Enroll. So if you are talking, maybe you're in an interview now, they're asking you, you can say, okay, once we join devices to Entra, it automatically gets enrolled to Intune. So you use enrollment for Intune, you use join for Entra. So I don't know if I've answered that question.
Yeah, I want to believe that you have. And I think that's the last question we have waiting, except for Femi, who still has his hand raised, who is unable to unmute his mic, and has still not dropped his question on the chat. I think for now we can bring this session to a close. And before we do that, I want to especially thank Emmanuel Oyimafu for coming tonight. Thank you very much for sharing all that you have shared with us tonight. I want to believe that we all will leave this session changed and more enlightened with regard to Microsoft Intune and device management. Thank you very much. Please let us appreciate Emmanuel Oyimafu with a clapping emoji. Please let us appreciate him. He has really done a huge and a great job of walking us through all of these concepts and also the practicals as well. Thank you very much, Oyimafu. And from thence, I will be moving to appreciating the leaders of the community who have given us this opportunity, who has given us this platform to express and to impart this knowledge. Thank you very much. And for those of us who have actually come here to gain, it's really a big deal for us all. And we are all grateful for this opportunity as well. I want to say thank you once again. On this note, we will bring this session to a close to meet tomorrow, same time, same place, same meeting link. And I want to say bye-bye. Have a very wonderful night. Yes, I forgot to mention, we have a very important personality in our midst here. We have Ms. Rafia Abdul Salam. Is one of the community leaders, and she's one of the community leaders, one of the organizers of this program, and also the coordinator of the mentorship program that we are all benefiting from today. So let us give a wonderful hand to Rafia for joining us, I think the first or the second time today. Thank you very much. She was actually on a leave and she's joining us today. Let us appreciate her, everyone. Please let us give her a clapping emoji to appreciate her for all her efforts for the community and for the mentorship program over the years as well. Thank you very much, Rafia. We appreciate you. And thank you. So I don't know if you want to say something, and if not, we can just
I appreciate her to say something.
Yes, now.
Her voice should show.
Let's hear your voice, please, Rafia. Hello, Rafia. Hello.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, thank you so much
great.
for that.
Thank you
so much. Yeah.
Thank you. It's nice to hear your voice. Thank you and welcome back.
Thank you.
We're happy to have you.
Same here.
Thank you. Everyone, please appreciate Rafia for us. Please, let's give her a clapping emoji to appreciate her and all that she has been doing for the community. And on that note, I want to wish every one of us a wonderful weekend and a very restful night. Till we meet again, say bye-bye and good night.